Hello and welcome back to Hanging with the Howards. That's right, Hanging with the Howards. This is episode 3, and I am Brian,
I'm Tish.
and we want to thank you for tuning in to not only the pilot episode but episode 2. And if you are joining us just for the very first time, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to pilot 1. Well, the pilot, not even pilot 1, but the pilot, and then episode 2. And as always, I'm always looking for any NIL deals. So, my name, image, and likeness, and my wife's obviously, we'll be glad to accept, gift cards or Adidas or Nike. If you guys want to come calling, we're your people. Heck, even reality shows, by the way.
Oh
Reality
my
shows,
goodness.
married,
I
Love
would
and
not
Marriage,
say that. I would
Huntsville.
not say that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys don't have to look any farther. I am your guy as well.
What are we supposed to be doing?
I have no idea. I just roll them right along. But anyways, as always, I think that if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, even, please feel free to share. We would love to hear your opinions and your thoughts as well.
So, now that we've gone through all of that, today we're going to be talking about navigating long distance relationships.
Hallelujah.
So,
Amen.
yes. So, if you watch, episode or the pilot episode, episode 2, you will see kind of how we first met. We talked about our first date. So now we're at the point where after the first day, we've decided, okay, yeah, we're gonna give this thing a try. Okay. So then here comes the challenge. That was the fun part, and it's still fun. However, now we're up to the point to where it's like, okay, so if we're gonna do this, how in the world are we gonna navigate 2.5 hours
Yeah, I think
away?
I think at first, it was fun because like anything in life, something that you're excited about, it's fun right off the start, but it can drag out, and I think that we did a good job not allowing that dragging out. But you have to be sometimes creative in long distance relationships. I know one of my former coworkers and heck, even a roommate. I know he's navigating a long distance relationship from, living in Louisiana and dating somebody in Florida. So you have to find ways to be creative. And one of those things, I owe it to somebody that I had been talking to long before I had even thought about meeting you, but doing a movie night. And so we just happened one night to just do a movie night. Well, I suggested it, and then I think we kind of worked through those challenges because again, hey, if you start a movie, if you're watching it on your computer or whatever, it might be there might be some lag time or you might be off or whatever. So I think we had a little bit of challenges,
Hmm.
from the start with the movie night, but it came along great. I
Yeah.
mean, we were able to watch the movie The Notebook. Shout out Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams and that whole crew for a heck of a movie. But watching that movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and um, you know, while we're not necessarily in the same room, we're watching it at the same time. I think we were FaceTiming at the same time,
Hmm.
if I remember correctly. And um, so, that alone was fun for us.
Yeah. So you have to kind of get creative sometimes, and even though you can't be physically together, you can still do things together. Um, Takes a little work, takes a little effort, but it's definitely worth it in the end. And we had a few technical difficulties, and I know he was getting frustrated because he all this punctuality stuff, but we figured it out. End up having a great time. But you just have to kind of get creative sometimes when you're apart to try to find ways to spend time with each other and to just do things together. And we FaceTime every night. I'm pretty sure he just loved that. But anyway, we FaceTime every night, and the nights where he may have had like a long game or something like that, the nights that we couldn't FaceTime, it's just kind of like this little void, because we were so used to doing it. But you just have to kind of find times to be together, to do things together, when you're apart. So for us, it was the movie night, it was the FaceTimes every day. Um, and then after a couple of weeks or so, an opportunity arose.
Well, I would just delve back a little bit. It's also doing the little things.
Yeah.
I think that too many people like get caught up in trying to do big things, right? But it's really the little things. So like during the day, I know she's busy with work. She knows I'm busy with work, and it used to be, well, I would send her a text message, "Hey, how's your day going? I'm just thinking about you," right? And now she sends me the text messages throughout the day, which is incredibly sweet. And I look forward to those all the time. So um, it's doing the little things, especially in a long distance relationship, especially when you want to make it work. And knowing, hey, this is somebody that you're constantly on the phone with, anyways, at night. I think every single night I was on the phone. Um, so yeah, that led to um, a weekend trip. Um, Grambling just happened to be in Shreveport, playing in a football game against Northwestern State, playing at the I don't want to say Liberty Bowl, but it was the Independence Bowl, and um, we hadn't been dating very long, and so I suggested, hey, well, obviously I want to see you, you want to see me, uh, but we're playing football in Shreveport. Would you want to come to Shreveport? And I know that that was probably the craziest question I have probably had asked to that point, and I was surprised what she said.
I was too. Because I agreed. I agreed to come. Um, Once again, just uh, I was comfortable. There's just a comfort level. Um, I think that we have with each other, um, that I felt, that made me feel comfortable enough to actually make that trip. Because ordinarily I would be like, mm-mm, no, I don't know you like that, no. But there was just like this comfort level. It felt right. I felt safe. I felt comfortable with him. Um, so I agreed to meet in Shreveport. Still nervous, because it was only our second time meeting face to face. But like I said, I felt comfortable enough to do it. So we met up in Shreveport.
We did, and the game was on a Saturday, and she got there on Friday, and we checked. Obviously, I got into we she stayed in my hotel room, different beds, of course, and um, different beds, but it was we went out to eat. We did things as a couple, and I think that that was important. And then the next day was the game, and after the game, going to an after game event or whatever, at a daiquiri place was I mean, it was pretty cool. Um, and then Sunday came up, and now we gotta say goodbye. And I think it probably was the first time it hit you, like, oh, I don't want to really leave. For me, I was like, yeah, all right, bye. No, I wasn't.
Right? Watch it.
Nah, seriously, it was sad because I really enjoyed the weekend uh,
Yeah.
with you, and but I knew we were going to have plenty of visits down the road.
And that weekend, I remember telling him repeatedly, I feel like a princess. I feel like a princess. I mean, like he did everything, all the right things. Going back to, the opening the doors and, just being this complete, gentleman. Um, I just felt once again, I just felt so comfortable, so safe, and I just felt like a princess like that whole weekend. I was like, wow, you know, he does all of these things. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. I've been praying for it. It was just kind of surreal, and I had a good time. I was glad that I made it.
Well, I was glad I invited you, and I know like with my schedule, with my particular job, I'm all over the map. Once August comes, I'm hitting the ground running essentially for 10 months. 9, 10 months of the year. So for me, to have that person, that calmness, that that's there with me, was incredibly valuable. So thank you for making those trips. And then that led to more trips because again my busy schedule. Then she made those trips to Ruston instead of me making those trips to Arkadelphia. She sacrificed her time and money, I'm sure, to make those trips to Ruston. Where not only did she get those opportunities to come see me, but then go to the football games, and everything, but also be a part of a family, seeing my interaction with my coworkers at Grambling, and being a part of that particular family, and then them seeing how happy I was, and still am, through that whole process. So, I certainly appreciate because I know that was 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, my business there. Like you said, the whole experience was just almost surreal. I've never experienced that side of like the athletic world, and but everyone just welcomed me. I was able to, sit up in press boxes and presidential or athletic suites, and I was just thinking, wow, this is amazing. Like I said, it just made me feel like so special, like it's like a princess. I felt like it was just a good feeling. It was a warm feeling for me. I really enjoyed those trips to Ruston, and while I was there, we kind of started a tradition that Sunday that before I left, we would always go to lunch at a particular place.
So shout out Whataburger. Whataburger. If you're listening now, I will be glad to take some coupons from you as well. But no,
That was our
Whataburger
favorite.
had been the Sunday tradition. We've gotten away from it a little bit, here and there. Obviously, when we had made that move to Virginia, and that's further episodes down the line. But you know, to be able to go to Whataburger, enjoy lunch, and then all right, bye. You know, I'll see you. In like a couple weeks, because that's just kind of how everything translated. For my job, there was times when I was on the road that I really wish she would have been there. We played at Bethune Cookman in Daytona Beach. I would have loved for her to be there. Playing in Dallas, at the State Fair Classic would have been great for her to experience that and come to that as well. But at the end of the day, she stayed behind, and she had other things, and I think that that's another aspect, another advice is don't try and change the person that you're with, right? Too often we try and change that particular person to fit a particular mold or category. One of the things I truly admire and appreciate from you is like you've never changed. You kind of just let me be me. And I think that helps add some calmness to me as well. Um, when people try and put somebody in a box, it just doesn't work. And I felt like that in certain, like a relationship that I had the year before. you know um I felt like that, or the summer before I felt like that was somebody was trying to fit me into a particular box, and it just didn't work. you know so this avenue worked, and we continued that love, that growing. You know, I think I'm the one that said I love you first, and it probably scared you. You know, I mean, I know it scared me a little bit, but but when you are in a long distance relationship, you have to find different ways to try and see each other. Um, you know, like it was kind of funny because like after we saw each other in El Dorado that first time, I wanted to see her again, right? And so the next time my opportunity was in Shreveport, and then well now she's wanting to come visit me in Ruston, and I think like the first time you wanted to come to Ruston, I kind of told her no,
Mhm.
hold stay back, and I did that because I felt like I was going to be extremely busy
Yeah.
at work, and but in the end, like I still wanted you there, you know, and that's how I knew, like, hey, I got this really great woman, and I don't really want to let her go, and I wanted to keep that momentum going. Anytime you have momentum, whether it's in a career, whether it's working out, whether it's driving a car, relationships, you want to keep that momentum going because you don't want it to stop, and I just didn't want it to stop. And I found myself through the process going, man, I really want to spend this. I would spend time with you. So every time she would come to Ruston, I would want to spend time with her some way, somehow. She went to a soccer game. She went to a football game. She became essentially not just my particular family, but Grambling family as well. And then, you know, it got me wanting to talk about, hey, the year before I went on vacation to Dominican Republic, you know, and I would like for you to join me in the Dominican Republic. And everything is moving so incredibly fast. And I think I said this, 2 episodes ago or even last episode, is anything that you hear, it's going to seem so unconventional. Just like, wow. Everything moved incredibly fast. And the funny part is it still moves so fast. We've been married over a year and everything still seems so fast, but it still feels fresh. Um, but just inviting her to the Dominican Republic, like that was a huge thing for me because the year before when I went by myself. And while yes, that was kind of scary to go by yourself, like I needed it because I was coming off of a very bitter and bad relationship at that particular time. So to be able to go by myself was great, but now I wanted to experience the Dominican with somebody else.
Once again, to the shock of everyone, I agreed to go. So we're going to definitely delve into that on the next episode because that was very interesting. It was very fun, but some more challenges there. But yeah, the things that I was doing, it was like I was shocking my own self. I was just like, I would never do this ordinarily. So I can just imagine what my daughters and what my family or what my friends were thinking. They were probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, she's lost her mind." But I was just following my heart. And I'm glad I did. And I think they realize that now. Of course, they're happy for us. But at the time, it was scary. It was scary for everybody. But it felt so natural. It felt so right to me. I was like, I know this is right. I know I'm going to marry this man. I know he's the one. So like when he asked me about the Dominican, when he asked me about Shreveport, it wasn't even hesitation. I was just like, okay, you know. So on down the line, a few more episodes, you're going to hear another okay to a question that he asked. But yeah, it's just just having that comfort level, with him, make those decisions, real easy for me. And like I said ordinarily, I wouldn't even entertain the thought of going out of town, or even going out the country with somebody. But yeah, but I knew that he was the one, so I felt comfortable with that.
Well, I think one of the key pieces also for us, what makes it work is constant communication. Um, you make it easy. Um, and then I was talking to somebody today. Was talking about um, the unsaid expectations, right? So if I get upset with you, right, and but you don't like because you didn't take out the garbage, right? But you didn't know to take out the garbage, right? Like that's on me. That falls on me, right? And so I fail, I didn't fail when my previous relationship had ended. I had to take a look at not only what I did, but how I could shape who I am. And that's where you made it easy because instead of there being unset expectations, there was, hey, I'm not going to have any expectations. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to fly the way. I'm just going to let it ride, right? And I think that that's also huge of what helps in the relationship is just having that open-ended communication and go, hey, that really hurt my feelings, or hey, this is what's going on today, and this is why I'm not feeling this, or and it could be work, it could be personal, and so for us, I think that that's kind of been helpful, and I think that that's what kind of started like when we were in the long distance phase and navigating that. That's all you had, right? You didn't have nothing else. You didn't have that person sitting next to you. You didn't have the person in the same room. You had a person on a phone. Essentially, you're looking at the phone, right? And that's all you had to be able to have conversations. And so, when you're talking about navigating long distance, we had that. We had going to meeting in Shreveport, her coming to see me in Ruston, and then me opening my eyes and go, man, I would really like to go on vacation with this person. It'd be pretty cool. And I think that that's kind of why I did what I did. Why I asked, because I said I've never experienced going out of the country with somebody I was never married to, at that time, and I wanted us to enjoy something together. I think that that's been the biggest thing is to do it together. So for me, that was my way of navigating through that long distance. Look at you, just all smiles right there, ain't you? All smiles.
I
Uh,
am all smiles.
I can firmly tell you this. I can firmly tell you this. In the last episode, I was wearing an Adidas shirt. I'm wearing a Nike shirt. So again, Adidas, Nike, if you're listening, uh, Whataburger, if you're listening, and Applebee's because you're the home of our first date, and you were eating good in the neighborhood. We'll be glad to accept those donations. Um, to honor our name, image, and likeness. But
In the
but
meantime,
in the meantime, though, um, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, this episode 3 of Hanging with the Howards, and we look forward to that next episode.
and we're going to be talking about what meeting
Meeting the
the
family.
family.
Meeting the family.
One time.
Are we talking about meeting my family or me meeting your family?
You meeting my
Oh
family.
boy, that should be fun. That should be
It's
fun.
gonna be good. It's gonna
Absolutely.
be good.
And we'll talk a little bit about the Dominican Republic. Oh, man, let me just tell you, you might want to tune in for that one because that is an explosive episode right there. Heck, we could probably even talk about that for a whole episode. But no,
We'll keep it.
we definitely are going to keep it simple. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. And as always, it's
Worth
worth
the
the
wait.
wait.
See you next time.
Bye bye.